Episode 39, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Lone Duck's Gun Dog Chronicles. It's me and Kevin here. We are a Waypoint Outdoor Collective, a part of their little family. Feels good. We're brought to you by Eukanuba. Fueled up, feeling full. Dogs are happy. So am I. Check them out. We got a couple cool things on the docket.
Yeah, we do.
But I think the coolest... Kevin, take it away. I'm just going to give you the mic. Go.
I got my own mic. We're having a baby. We're having a handful of birdie pups. 2.5 weeks. We'll have pups on the ground. It's going to be really exciting. Second edition of Lone Duck Pups. So stay tuned for a whole lot of Instagram fun, Facebook action. We're going to chronicle the whole thing. Gun Dog chronicle the whole thing. It should be good.
Yeah, cool. So, little background on these puppies. Birdie's a junior hunter, super talented little dog, good pedigree, healthy, got all her clearances. Great personality. She would be probably considered like an alpha female in some respects, but she's also super chill in the house, and
she's a good family dog. I mean, she's probably...
Yeah, I think in her first year of her life, she was more like alpha and like full of herself. Now she's really calmed down and totally changed gears into like a family member, chilled out, sleep on the couch with you.
Yep.
But then you bring her out in the field and she loves...
She flips a switch.
Yep.
She flips a switch. She got a good drive to her.
And then the male, his name is Storm. Storm is a master hunter. He's qualified all age, which means he won a field trial, a qualifying. He's a bigger-bodied male, maybe 80 pounds if I had to guess. Just well-built, beautiful dog.
He looks like a truck. He's a big man.
Yeah. And Birdie's probably only 55 pounds. She's not super big at all.
No. She's petite. Easy. She's a petite little girl.
Yeah, whatever. I'm pretty sure I said that. So, anywho, they're going to have medium-sized, field-bred golden retrievers. These guys, Stormy's on the lighter color.
He's not like a yellow. He's still got a little red in him.
Yeah, and then Birdie's full-blown red. So we should have medium to dark colored golden retrievers that are ready to rock it as a family member, hunting dog, and hunt test competitor. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun to see these puppies. I hope I get a couple back in training to see how they turn out. I'm very positive on these dogs being able to play any game. So that should be cool. So congratulations, Kevin, on the little stork coming your way.
Yeah, little birdie pups, mama bird, coming soon, coming at you.
So if you would be interested in getting one of those, you can shoot at Lone Duck a direct message, and we can answer questions, send pedigrees,
send photos, all that fun stuff,
and then pricing and all that jazz. But anywho, second order of business, Kevin, what did I have to discuss? He already forgot.
Listen, I make notes. We had a pretty full weekend though at Lone Duck. You had a good hunt test.
Okay, I was going to hold off. That was going to be my third one. What was
all right, then you had a good hunt.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted.
Thinkin Lincoln, breaking out the big man.
Thinkin Lincoln, baby, I'm about to have me some fun. I don't even know the real words. But that's
you don't need to. Those were the real words.
So I took Lincoln and his owner, Ben, on their first goose hunt.
Ben's first goose hunt, too?
No. Ben goose hunts a ton,
gotcha.
But I meant together.
Yeah.
It's just me and Ben. And remember, guys, all the advice on your dog's first hunt, right? Everything I told you. Leave your gun at home. Worry about teaching the dog. This is about the dog, not you. Do the right things now so the next 12 years of that dog's life are going to be good. Well, I practiced what I preached.
real quick before we even jump in, can you give a little recap on Lincoln in case anyone skipped ahead?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that's probably a good call, Kev. Not everybody might follow Instagram and stuff. So Lincoln is a 10-month-old black lab, super nice pedigree. He's off of that Juice dog that we've talked about in previous episodes.
It's a safe related to Juice too, isn't he?
No. May, Kenai.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you're thinking of May. So
Anyways.
May and Kenai and Thinkin Lincoln are they share the same father, different mothers. So anywho, Lincoln's just a big, giant, 10-month-old. He acts like he's 5 months old. He's very smart, ton of drive, kind of immature.
He doesn't run. He just bounces.
Pretty much,
bounces
like,
and gallops.
He's just a happy, goofy guy. Never has a bad day. Loves to do his job. Really talented dog. But I think like a year from now, when he flips maturity-wise, he's going to be a machine. So anywho, Ben lines up this field, invites me out on Sunday, and so we get up. I get Lincoln rolling, and we get him ready, right? Like we get the little ground blind, we get our layout blinds, we set the decoys, we do it right.
Now, let people know where you're at right now. Like, maybe not the axe, but
no, we played traffic cop.
Okay.
So he had seen geese in this field at night a couple nights before, but then with work and stuff, he couldn't really scout any different. He just knew that they were using it.
Somewhere around central New York, though?
Yeah, out between Ballinsville and Camillus, basically.
Gotcha.
So there's like a park near there where they aren't getting shot at, and there's water, and then there's a recently cut cornfield. And so I think they were going to the cut cornfield and back and forth to that pond, not using our field anymore.
Gotcha.
But neither here nor there. So I want to tell how Lincoln did, I guess, is where I'm going.
Yeah.
So a lot of positives came from this hunt. One thing I was really proud of, he stayed in his ground blind 99% of the time.
Really?
You know, sometimes when you lay next to a dog in a ground blind and you're in a layout blind, 2 foot from his head, you know how the dog does. If you sit in your living room on the ground, they want to be in your lap and nuzzling you and all over you. That can happen in a goose field. Like, they just see you right there and, I just can't take it anymore, and they try and nuzzle up. No, he was super, super good about it. Like I said before, we were playing traffic cop, so I'm doing a ton of calling, and we're flagging. Truthfully, I don't train with a goose call. I just have a duck call on my whistle lanyard, and I quack a duck call. So he'd never heard a goose call.
I don't think I've seen anybody out there like throwing birds like.
Yeah, that's basically how it went. So I'm hammering the goose call to try and get him to turn. He's flagging. He's standing up. I'm getting up to move around. We move decoys, and he's just hanging out. He's doing a great job. Now, here's what I did. I took my Wonder lead, just a standard issue Wonder lead that you can get from Gun Dog Supply, and I had it around him. I had his e-collar on, and I had the rope slung through into my blind. So if he were to break, I could check him, put him back in his blind, and steady him back up. I also suggest staking him out. I think from now on, when I'm hunting field geese, no matter how good a dog I've got, I'm going to stake him out. After last year, hunting with Matt Peel with Memphis, who's a master hunter, 99% steady, and she broke, and she was right in front of gun barrels, it's not worth it. So I'm going to there's some quick release stuff out there. I don't know what they're called, so maybe Kevin and I can do a little research and get back to you on the next episode. Sure. Write a note down, please.
Yep.
Where there's a quick release, and you can send the dog, but they're tied out, and you don't have to necessarily worry about an accident happening. So I had Lincoln on the Wonder lead. First group came in. Ben knocked a couple feathers off, but no geese were harmed in the making of that.
Just let them know you were there.
Yep. Second volley, we knocked one down.
There you go.
He broke. But first of all, the goose came from far away, so he's watching him the whole time. We're calling, flagging. He's getting amped up. 3 shots ring out. 1 goose falls. Boom. Right in the decoys. He breaks. I got him on the wonder lead. He snatches himself. I put him back in the kennel. Send him. He tackles this goose. Now it's dead, but you know how they like flipping and flopping.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, he didn't have
rolling
much,
a little bit.
right? He
And he hasn't seen that, probably.
Here's the kicker.
I'm getting ahead.
No, you're not getting ahead. He has. He's had live ducks, shackle ducks. Remember we talked about it?
Yeah.
Like, they've had them, but they've been picking up ducks and bumpers, not a 7-pound goose or however much they weigh, right? Flopping, dying. You know, it's bouncing up and down on the ground, basically. I'm trying to paint a picture so people can understand that it wasn't stone dead laying belly up.
Right.
It wasn't a mallard that's a manageable size that he's had a bunch swimming away or fluttering a little bit on the ground. Like we've done live bird work, okay? Done it. But there's nothing like a dog's first or second or third goose. There's just not.
It's just different. I mean, have you ever thrown a goose for him?
Well, good question. Yes, I have.
Really?
But it was dead.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
It's just different.
it's just different. So it freaked him out. Like, he tackled it, right? He pile drived this goose, and then it hit him back. And he jumped 10 feet in the air and was like, "What is this? I'm out." And then he kind of woofed at it and would go. So
Really?
yeah, so I got out of my blind. All encouragement. So this would be like, okay, yeah, force fetch. Oh, yeah, you can make him do it. No. Make it a positive experience. So I grabbed it. I teased him with it. I threw it. It's still flopping. But he'd run up to it. He'd grab it. He'd drop it. It'd flop. It'd flip. And he'd woof, woof. I'm like, all right, come on, man. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, get your bird. Get your bird. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, hey. Threw it again.
Make it a positive experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put pressure on it, and they can associate it now with pressure. And, you know, it's his first one. Give him a break.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, though. I mean, if you want it to be fun for him, too, so give him a little bit of, like, get him amped up a little bit, and he might be more likely to be like, all right, let's go, and grab it.
So that's what happened. On, like, the third, quote-unquote, fun bumper with this flopping goose, he grabbed that
Fun
sucker,
goose.
and he, like, jumped in the air, like, woohoo! Right? Like, I
can imagine Thinkin Lincoln. That's just how he is.
He is. That's exactly. Like I said, he's kind of immature. He's just a happy goofball, and so he finally like mustered the courage and grabbed this thing, and he bucked and ran to Ben. Here heel sat.
No way.
Delivered a hand. I grabbed it from him. Went back out, and we threw a couple marks in the decoys with it, and
Smart.
He hammered it.
No, why'd you do that?
Just to make sure it's in his brain that it's fun and right and steady, and we just, you know.
It is what he has done before.
Right. So.
Was Ben pumped?
Ben was pretty pumped. He did ask me, though. You could tell he's like, what is the deal? Like, the dog won't pick it up, right?
Yeah.
But he's never had a gun dog before, right? He's never done it before. He's never hunted geese. Like, he hasn't hunted geese with dogs before, so he'd never seen a dog balk at it. It's pretty common.
It's a learning experience for him, too.
Right. So he's like, is this common for a dog to be weird about it? I'm like, absolutely. I don't know if I know a dog whose first goose experience went seamless. They all kind of look at it. I remember Safe's first goose. I mean, she balked at it. As soon as we made it fun, boom, nailed it. Never.
We did the same thing with Birdie, too.
Yeah, every dog.
Yeah.
Every dog. So, turns out Ben couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I hope he hears this. He will. He said he's been catching up on all that, so he's going to hear this. Ben couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. His gun's up for sale, he said.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm kidding. So, I'm kidding about the gun. I'm not kidding about he couldn't hit.
So was that the only bird of the morning?
Unfortunately for Lincoln, it was.
All right.
But he had good experience. We had, I think, 2 or 3 more smaller groups of 6, 8, 10. We had one good-sized group.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Ben.
That's all right. I mean, I'm sure when this was happening, he didn't think it was going to get broadcasted to people
the whole
driving
Chronicles.
to work.
Right. So anywho, we didn't get any more shots, but what we did get is breaking.
Really? So you had opportunities to fix.
To train.
Nice.
Yep. So I kept him on the lead the whole time. I was kind of harsh with my corrections. Snatched him on the lead, yank him into his kennel, growl at him, kennel, get in there. No, kennel.
Yeah.
Right? And just use it as teaching.
Right. Was he starting to like pick up on it a little bit more at the end now that he's had?
Oh, dude, he knew exactly what we were doing once. Like, that's why he broke. He finally was like, oh, these things are for me?
Yeah.
I'm in. But, the good part was he stayed in his blind when the geese were committing. He stayed in his blind until the shots rang out. He stayed quiet, no whining. We got a couple more weeks left.
Yeah.
And we've got to intensify his training so that the excitement of the 12-gauge shotguns and things splashing or landing right in his face, we don't need to be doing 150-yard marks with Lincoln anymore. We need to be doing 10-yard marks and 20-yard marks for that excitement of, whoa, it's right there.
Yeah.
So, anywho, great learning experience for Lincoln and Ben, and I was proud of how he did. Was it perfect? No, never. First hunt is never going to be perfect. You have to help them. That's why you leave your gun at home. Don't even have it in your bag because you know how excited I would have been to be like, oh, sorry, Ben, I'm just going to.
Yeah, because exactly. You'd have been like, well, you know what? Why don't I help? It'll be fine, whatever. And then now you're wasting the opportunity
to train.
Right.
This is the first few hunts are to train. All right. Next order of business.
Huey.
Huey, killer tofu.
He's got the best nicknames.
Someone gets a free hat if they can tell me what that's from.
Do I count?
No.
All right, fine.
I've given you a hat before. All right, you're going to write in direct message at LoneDuck on Instagram. First person to get it right, like tomorrow. I'm going to do it one more time. Huey, killer tofu. If you know what that's from, if you were a early 90s kid, direct message us and you win a hat.
Love it.
Anywho, Huey's got a million great nicknames, but this dude showed up.
So what is give everybody a little background on Hugh, because Hugh sometimes makes an appearance on Instagram, sometimes he does not. He goes back and forth.
Huey is apparently 2 years and 4 months old. That's what.
Not to be specific or anything.
Yeah, that's what the paperwork showed at our test. German short-haired pointer, and we ran NAVHDA, North American Versatile Hunting Dog Association. We ran his utility test, and utility test is basically, in the retriever world, it's like their master hunter. It's the best of the best, the finished dog. He had to do what's called a duck search. And a duck search is you basically send him into a swamp, pond, lake, and tell him hunt. I say back. Other people say fetch. Other people say whatever the heck they say, but I say back. And he has to hunt without your help the entire pond to try and find a duck. So, like, for the retrievers, we run blind retrieves where I know where that bird is or the general vicinity. I send the dog, I whistle to it, it turns and looks, and I cast it and point it to where I think it should find the duck. Well, what if we don't know where the duck is? What if it sailed off and it's somewhere in Timbuktu and you can't really get him there? It happens. Well, this is where the duck search comes into play. So you just kick the dog loose, and he has to be independent and confident to just hunt. Well, he did fantastic at that. He hunted for 19 minutes straight.
Really?
Yep.
So just cruising around looking for that duck, making sure that he was checking all the nooks and crannies?
Yeah, basically what they want to see is a dog that will cross the pond, hunt the furthest shoreline, get back in the water, hunt other patches of cover, and just like put on an intelligent hunt where ducks could be.
And be persistent.
And not give up.
Right.
So he crossed the pond, came back towards me, hunted, came back a little closer, peeled back, went all the way back across the pond, which was probably 120 yards or so.
Across?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was deep.
Yeah.
Then he expanded his hunt on the other shoreline, came back, hunted both like around again, turned around, went back to the other shoreline again, hunted even further on the shoreline, started coming back and hunting in the water, and the judge is like, all right, nice job, call him in. So he passed that. He did great. The second thing they do is...
So wait, like, I always cut you off, so this is just
No,
par.
go ahead, dude.
But like, so he didn't find it though.
They do not have to find it to get a passing score.
So the goal is not necessarily go find this duck. It's go be persistent and search.
And never give up and search and hunt and try and dig it out, which he tried.
Can you get a perfect score or like the highest rating that you can get if the dog finds it? Like, is that just the fix?
So if the dog finds it, they're supposed to hunt for 10 minutes. That's like the minimum is 10 minutes. If it quits at 7 minutes, you're screwed. So basically, let's say he goes out and he finds the duck in 5 minutes.
That was going to be my next question. Like,
that's not the minimum. Now you take the duck from the dog and have to send him back out, and he's got to continue hunting. Several dogs got crappy scores because they found the duck in 5 minutes and wouldn't go back in the water. They didn't want to do it again.
Gotcha.
So they quit.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that does make sense. Okay. I was thinking like, okay, well, if he did it, like, that's great. He went out and found it.
That's my thought, too.
No, I got you.
That's my thought, too. But they also would say, at their elite level, you could have 2 ducks down.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And you got to have a dog with guts to, if you tell me there's another one out there, I'll go look again.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. I got you.
Huey didn't have to do that. He didn't find the duck. But whatever. He did a great job. I was proud of him. Second thing is they need to be super obedient. They need to be dialed in obedient during this thing. Like, you can't tell them here. You can't tell them, you can say heel once. There's certain rules that are kind of weird, but it upholds a very high standard of obedience. So the next thing is they have to heel through like a weaving pole thing up to a blind near the water. And if they go outside of the poles, you're docked a point. If you got to put them on a leash and pop the leash, you're docked many points. Like, you're in trouble. The dog has to be calm, gentle, and right at your side.
So you're trying to rack up as many points as you can? Like, you're trying to just not get points taken off,
You're trying to not get points taken off.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Everybody starts out with a 4, basically, to make it as simple as I can. So everybody gets a 4 at duck search. Well, if the dog quit, you might end up getting knocked down to a 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Or if you have to resend 3 times, so at heel, if you have to say heel throughout it, you're going to get knocked down to a 2. Well, now you can't get a prize 1, so there's prize 1, 2, and 3, or no prize. No prize is no good. Something, you got a 0 on something, you did real bad, basically, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In one section, you could have smoked the whole test.
Really?
You could have smoked the whole test, perfect everything else, but if you get a 0 on something, no prize.
Okay.
If you get a 1, but you're perfect in something else, you only can get maybe a prize 3. So it's strange, but I get it. Now, so after you do your heel work, they call it remain by blind. And this remain by blind, basically I sit the dog next to a fake duck blind. It looks like my cheesy holding blinds that I made from Walmart. And you just sit the dog down. You tell him sit once. Then you're done. You go hide in the woods. And you have to shoot a 12 gauge twice in 10-second intervals. So like walk into the woods, bang. 10 seconds later, bang. So now this dog is like, where did you go? You're shooting without me. And I got to stay sitting here. Well, Huey didn't move a muscle. Now you walk back calmly to your dog, hopefully still sitting at the blind. If he moves, I think he's granted like he could stand up. Then you don't lose anything. If
gotcha.
He takes
he can't like run to you sort of thing.
If he takes 2 or 3 steps, you're at a 3. If he comes to you, you're probably a 1 or a 0.
Gotcha. So you really want him to just not move a muscle. A statue.
Like I said, super obedient. All right. After you remain by blind, you immediately do a duck retrieve, which in our world, the retriever world, this is the easy part, right? Huey does this all day long.
That's
so
maybe the secret is Huey got trained by a yeah. Huey doesn't know he's a pointer.
So this is, he sits next to me. I've got a gun. There's a gun out in the woods and a bird with a launcher. They shoot a 12 gauge. I repeat a shot. So bang, bang. 10 seconds later, bang, bang. And a duck comes out. So I have to shoot the duck midair, but you get the point.
Did you miss it?
No, that sucker fell, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
And then the dog has to be steady throughout all that. You send your dog. He has to deliver perfectly to hear, heel, sit without you saying a word. I mean, you can send him, obviously. So I say, Huey, he goes and gets it.
Yep.
But then he has to bring it right back to hear, heel, and sit without me saying anything. Which, some of the dogs dropped the duck on the shoreline. Some of the dogs farted around on the shoreline and then brought it to him. You're getting dinged. Huey did perfect. After that, we went to the field work.
Was Huey's owner, watching the whole time?
He was able to watch, but he couldn't. He was afraid to be close because I would imagine, too, Huey loves Nick to death. He'd probably go to Nick.
Yeah, I got
if he was like 10 feet away, Huey always would go to Nick, and then I'd have to call him to me, and he'd come to me.
Dock points.
So you'd get dock points.
No,
so
that makes sense.
He could see everything and pieces of the duck search, but he could pretty much see anything.
So he's out in a ghillie suit just kind of waiting around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anywho, the next part was chucker. You have to hunt for half an hour. Now it's midday. It was warm. It was like 75, beautiful day. And the dogs were hot. They were running hot. A lot of dogs weren't finding the chucker. There were 5 chucker, I believe, in the field, maybe a little more if another dog couldn't find them and whatnot. But generally speaking, there were 5 birds in that field, I was told. And a lot of the other dogs weren't finding them. And to be truthful with everybody here on the podcast, Nick knows this, Huey was having a hard time with the chucker. I was nervous. Sometimes he'd run right by him. I partially think it's because we train in similar grounds every day, and so he was more like free running and having fun versus putting on a very serious hunt.
Knew he was out like to get after it.
So I'm thinking, oh, God, I don't know where these chucker are. In training, I know where I put them so I can help him get to them and point them and whatnot. He's got to do this all on his own. We weren't out a minute. Bang, he slams on point. No, let me rephrase that. He goes on a crap point. Tail's wagging. He's looking at me. He's wagging. And the judge goes to me. He goes, is he on point? I go, no. But yeah. I go, I don't know the rules well enough. If you're asking me, he doesn't have a bird there. He's smelling old scent or something is messed up. That's not a real point. But I'll call it a real point. I'll go try and flush it. I don't know if this is going to dock my point. This is me literally talking to him as I'm walking up to Huey going, this is not a real point, but let me just make sure. If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. It wasn't. So I kick him loose. 30 seconds later, he points it. So he must have caught scent or something.
Yeah, okay.
And it just wasn't strong enough for him to be confident. It was probably 25, 30, 40 yards away. Now he locks up. I'm like, all right, here we go. We got a point. I got to get my gunners ready. So there's 2 dudes, one on either side of me, ready to shoot this chucker, and I got to try and flush it in a safe direction. Huey has to be steady to wing, shot, and fall, and then I release him.
Can you explain a little bit specifically what that means?
Your dog is being judged on his point. Your dog is being judged on his steadiness, so he can't move when the bird flushes and is shot, and has to mark the bird where it falls and then retrieve it. So you're getting judged on all those things. The point, the steadiness, maybe 3, and the retrieve.
Yeah.
I think there's one more, but I'm not a
No,
you had
it.
I'm not
You're
a
good.
super expert. So, anywho, first bird hammers it. Second bird hammers it. Now the judges, you're supposed to get, you got to pretty much get 2, and that's what they if you don't find any more, like, you're still doing okay. He found 2. So now I got 2, and it's like 3 minutes in, and I got 27 more minutes to go.
A lot of time to
So the
get
judge pulls me
points.
aside. She's like, all right, let's get him some water. You know, good job. You're doing a good job, blah, blah, blah. So water him up, cool him down. We kick him loose again. He points another bird. Now the 4th bird, he ran over top. Didn't mean to. We just came around a corner in a hedgerow and bang, it jumped. He, like, tried to sort of catch it midair, and then he woed himself. I said, whoa. Now we're like, oh, God. I said a command. I cannot say a command again. He has to abide by that command or we're docked. Well, he woed. Now the bird's, like, bouncing around in front of his face and, like, jumps and flushes 15 feet away.
No
and
way.
He's running away again.
Really?
And so now I'm like, all right, judges, I don't know what you want me to do. You tell me. You want me to go flush this thing or what? And they're like, yeah, get your gunners ready. So we got our gunners. And this could be like a goat rodeo. I mean, it could go either way. This bird could duck into that hedgerow that we came around. And then now you're kicking around a hedgerow and making sure your dog's steady. Like, it could have gotten ugly. But it didn't. I got sort of lucky there. He pinned that mark. Now it's like 26 minutes.
Huey.
And he's got 4 beautiful everythings. We can pretty much be done. We could, like, we're walking back. Doesn't the son of a gun go on point again? Like, all we can do now is screw up. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Like, we have a perfect score in the bag on this one.
Yeah.
All he can do now is screw up. So I'm like, okay, here we go. He points. Get my gunners ready. Now they haven't missed a shot. Bird goes up. Boom. Miss. And it's like way out there now. Boom. Drops a foot. So if you've ever done this stuff, pheasants, chucker, grouse, I don't know, anything like this, and you just nick them, they'll drop a foot. You know, you hit them in the butt or wherever, and the foot goes, but their wings are still beating and they're hauling butt. This bird flew.
Yeah, 1 pellet.
Yeah, he got a Hail Mary pellet. This bird flew 100-plus yards, kind of at the crest of a hill, which is hard for a dog. A lot of times if it hits that crest of a hill or goes over the hill, the dog will roll over top of the hill and roll past the bird on a mark. So it's kind of a hard one. And now all the judges are like, okay. And they're all looking at each other. And I'm standing there like,
Now what's Huey doing?
on point, staring where that bird landed. And one of the judges like, well, he marked it. You got to recover your game, right? Like you can't just like walk away from a down bird,
right?
A cripple, right? So he's like, send your dog. Huey. He hauls butt, pins the chucker. I mean, front-footed it, didn't hunt at all, just stomped it. And the whole gallery was able to see this last
No way.
So everybody got to watch it. And everybody, when I came back and like people were congratulating me and Huey, they were like, we didn't think they were going to send him. We thought it was we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we saw the dog go, and everybody thought he broke.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, it was awesome. Dude.
That's pretty cool. Nick must have been pumped too.
Oh yeah. So that was the highlight of the day for me, was that, you know, showing that, you know, again, I trained him like a lab. We do really long marks with Huey, and it paid dividends. Like if you only throw 30-yard marks for your pointer and you want to play the NAVHDA game, you know, something like that, they could break down at 30, 40, 50 yards and not be able to mark further. So we stretched him out, and he kicked butt. Then the last piece of the puzzle
really cool, though.
Was called a duck drag, and basically they take a duck and drag a dead duck through a field, and I don't know, I would guess 100 and some yards into the woods, and then they hide a judge in the woods to make sure that he picks the duck up nicely and brings it back to you, instead of like chewing it or ripping feathers out or whatever.
So I'm picturing Ron Bain like in a deer stand with binoculars.
Ronnie Bain.
Camping out.
Ron Bain is the guy from the Hunting Dog podcast, and he and I chatted this morning about Huey. and just how it went and stuff. So that was cool. He was on our podcast earlier in episodes. I don't know what episode he was, but
give it a listen.
Him out. Yeah.
Good
so
dude.
Anywho, super nice guy, but yeah, somebody's in the woods just watching to make sure the dog gets the bird nicely and then delivers nicely to you. So he hammered that one too, and it's super rare to get, they call it a max score. If you call it a perfect score, that's not allowed because nothing's perfect. There's room to improve, right? So
yeah, no, that's fair though.
It's fair. That. We got a perfect score. They can eat it. So
you got a max score.
We got a 204 out of 204, and it's called a prize one. It's the best you could do. He could literally not have gotten any more points, and he was the youngest dog there. I can't tell you how proud I was of Huey and the work he put in that day, and I mean, he looked mature and with it, and no mess ups. I mean, not a slip. So I was really proud, and that's that, man. I mean, that was the weekend in a nutshell. We had a NAVHDA
It's a big
test.
Weekend,
yeah, and then we had the goose hunt, and we finally know that Birdie's pregnant, and that's that. And now stick with us for 2 seconds of quick housekeeping. First thing, big thank you to everybody who's been supporting the Lone Duck Outfitters website and ordering gear. We really, really appreciate it. I mean, this podcast is for you guys, and the fact that you like to represent Lone Duck and the Unspoken Bond means a lot. If you want, check it out, loneduckoutfitters.com. Get yourself some gear for hunting season. Secondly, if you're interested in a birdie puppy, they're going to go to approved homes, so if you'd like to get on the list, feel free to direct message us. We'll get you more information on the pedigrees and the health clearances and the pricing and all that jazz. Also, quick, review us. We just crested 200-plus reviews, and all were 5 stars, so thank you, except for one. This one dude. I'm going to order him a Busch Light, and I'm going to get a Busch Light and ship it to him and say, cheers to you for being the one.
There's got to be one out there.
Hey.
Keep pushing forward.
Haters going to hate. Only one, though. So all you guys giving 5 stars and leaving comments, we read them, and it means the world to us. So, dude, thank you.
We can't respond back to them, though. So this is us saying thank you, and then we appreciate it. And, if you ever see us out at a hunt test, we owe you one.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you. Tune in next week. Cheers. Get after those ducks, doves, grouse, woodcock, whatever you're into. Enjoy it with your dogs. Cheers, everybody.